Shalom, everybody. Rabbi Edelstein back again with another installment of Rabbi E in 3, brought to you by MEORDC, MEORDC.com, our website, or find us on Facebook. And GW students, or other students in the DC area, it's still time, plenty of time to apply for the Maimonides Jewish Leaders Fellowship, an amazing 10-week seminar on Jewish ideas held at GW. Okay, this week's Torah portion, so exciting, so incredible, so packed with amazing things. Beshalach, towards the beginning of the book of Exodus, Beshalach. We have here the splitting of the sea and the joyous and the destruction of the Egyptian army that had been pursuing the Jewish people out of Egypt. Or actually, they went out without being pursued, and then God hardened Pharaoh's heart. He comes after them with the armies, and we have the splitting of the sea, the destruction of the Egyptian army. We have the incredibly ecstatic, beautiful song, Shirat Hayam, the song of the Jewish people, praising God, expressing the elevated insight they had to Hashem's mastery of nature, at what they saw at the splitting of the sea. And then you have the beginning of the journey post Sea of Reeds splitting in the wilderness, and some complaining, and amazing stuff. And the manna, the man, the incredible food that the Jewish people would eat, the spiritual food that God gave them. Very refined, I should say, of a refined spirituality, our sages say. The manna, the man they would eat in the desert. I'm kind of rambling, but I had to give you a little overview. Read the portion of Beshalach. There's so much in it. But here's what I want to talk about. The first verse. It says in the first verse that when God took the Jewish people, led them out of Egypt, He did it towards the promised land. He didn't do it in the quickest way possible. He took them on a roundabout path. And the Torah says, because God knows His customers, His people, He knew that if they would encounter certain difficulties like a war, a neighboring nation might come out and attempt to have a war with them, they would get scared and run back to Egypt. And that itself is an amazing thing. They had seen God perform 10 plagues for them, miracles at the sea, not at the sea, but miracles in Egypt. But they might get scared in a moment of panic or in the wilderness, and they might want to flee back to the slavery of Egypt rather than face danger or something unknown in the desert. Why do I want to talk about that? Because God employed in His wisdom strategic thinking, a strategy. What do I mean? He knows His people, they might run back to Egypt when danger arises if they're too close to Egypt. So therefore He takes them on a roundabout way. Here's what I want to talk about for the next few seconds, precious seconds over here in Rabbi Ian 3 plus, no, Rabbi Ian 3 or thereabouts. Do we ever, with ourselves, use strategic thinking? What do I mean? I don't mean when we're in a football game. I don't mean when we're, job resume or something. But when it comes to improving ourselves, eliminating a bad trait or trying to be better, there's the noble intention and the desire, and that's wonderful. But you need a strategy. Like if you know that going near to a certain place will be bad for you, whatever that might be, then the strategy is to stay away from that place. Take a different route. Don't go there. Don't hang out with that person if that person leads me down or makes me say, or helps me, or not it makes me, but if I say bad things when I'm around that person, and so on and so forth. That's called strategic thinking when it comes to self-improvement and growth. I'll speak for myself. I don't think I do it that much. I'm full of good intentions. I read plenty of books as a rabbi and, ethical books and ethical treatises, and but do I often, I wish I did, but do I often sit down strategically? I want to work on my temper. I want to work on not being so impatient. Here's the strategy in order to achieve that. I don't think we do so much. And that's something that is really, I'm going to take it to a bigger level. The Torah is a strategy for channeling our spirituality. We, in a general sense, we sometimes are inspired. Oh, I feel something, or I feel God, or I feel like I'm connecting to God. But then what do you do with it? What's the strategy to build on that? The Torah itself, with its commandments, its beautiful mitzvot, is a strategy to elevate us, but to channel feelings of the spirituality, to develop them, and that inspiration. Think strategically, whether it's in little incidents or in big global things. It's not enough to just want to do the right thing. That's great. And to be inspired to do the right thing, that's great. You need strategies to implement it, to develop and to grow. Have a great Shabbos.